nostalgia, memories, growing up in Central Florida in the 1990s. What a bunch of sappy crap. It's the Sappy Crap Podcast, starring Steve Bauman and Jarman Day.
All right, welcome to the Sappy Crap Podcast, where the names are changed, but the stories are real. I'm Jarman.
And I'm Steve. That's right. The stories are real, or at least how we remember them. At this point, it's been so long, they're all just stories.
That's right, and we're here to tell stories that only two longtime best friends can.
So join us from some extra angsty adolescent angst this week as we talk about something that a lot of students are missing out on this time of year.
I know we keep bringing that stuff up. I feel bad, but it's true.
Homecomings and fall formals. Kids are missing out on school dances.
School dances. What a hot topic of conversation.
Darn right. It's what all the kids are not talking about.
They can't.
They can't. They have nothing to talk. They're like, I have no reference.
Like, they literally can't get that close to one another to have a dance.
I mean, not safely.
If you hear a jingle jangle, I'm having a little beverage with tonight's recording to celebrate not being able to dance with anyone.
That's right.
So, Steve, what's your earliest memories of some from school dances?
So my first dance, I think, was in the 7th grade. And so the thing to remember about middle school dances is that they're different from the high school dances that you've seen in media and movies and stuff. Because unlike you go to a dinner and you get dressed up and you go to a fancy play limo, middle school dances are like on a Wednesday in place of 6th period. You're wearing whatever you wore that day.
In the cafetorium, maybe.
In the cafeteria. There are adults everywhere because way too many parents volunteered to chaperone. But in the 7th grade, I got a free ticket to the dance because one of our buddies' moms worked at the library. And by some miracle, I end up going with this girl that I have this incredible crush on.
Oh, wow.
It was an awkward miracle. But then as I got into it, I realized that at middle school dances, all this equates to is that we did group dancing together with 5 other people and a mom. And I never went to another middle school. That was the one I went to, and that was enough.
They made us pay for those dances?
Yeah, but it was like $2.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't a real amount of money. It was cut to cover the punch.
Punch and the little decorations and stuff, probably.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
But we were the same middle school, and I vaguely remember going to a middle school dance and having like all the music of the time playing and like.
Probably you did what I did. You went to one and went, no, I'm good.
It wasn't that fun. Girls on one side, guys on the other kind of thing.
What's the first dance that you remember having to go to?
Well, it's weird because it's not quite a dance per se, but it was the early age of probably late elementary, early middle school, and you would go to the skating rink. And
oh, yeah.
But they always have couple skate, which is basically like the same fears and anxiety arrives when you have couple skate as you would if you were at a school dance. And I just remember every time the slow dance couple skate would happen, I had no one to dance with or just slow skate with. So I just skate over to the arcade and play video games until it was over.
Here's how I remember that. It was always couple skate or skate backwards.
Oh.
I remember this because they would always do it, and I would go and attempt to skate backwards for approximately 15 seconds before falling down. And then I would go sit and reflect that I could neither skate backwards or had a girl to go with, and my ass then hurt.
That's why you skip it.
It was just that. It was that triple wham.
Just go straight to the arcade, man. That's a safe bet.
Oh, yeah. You go play Buck Hunt.
I remember, though, there being a guy who was like an expert skater, and he was skating backwards and stuff. This guy at the Universal Skateway. And he had gloves with sponges inserted in them. So whenever he fell by accident during trying to do tricks and stuff, he would just bounce back off of his sponges on his hands.
The palms.
And he would constantly be knocking over children and stuff, and he didn't care. He was like in his 40s. It was really weird.
I mean, that guy sounds real cool.
Yeah, he's a master cool guy. Oh, man.
A different, very alternate dance experience was the welcome freshman dance for school. And we went to the 9th grade center, which for us, our 9th year in school, was at like a separate building that was actually just the old high school that ran out of room.
Yeah, and they called it the Pink Prison. It was probably built in the 1940s or something.
Oh, man, it was such an ugly color.
Yeah.
But the 9th grade dance was at the big school in the cafeteria. So that was a big deal. You had to be a freshman or be like dating a freshman to get in. So it was all these young people and people you went to middle school with, and then a bunch of people from the middle school you didn't go to middle school with. So there was that weird like melting pot.
Yeah, the Maitland
Feel
middle
to it.
schoolers. Ugh.
But what I remember the most is that everything, it was dark. There were crazy lights. The music was loud. There were no slow dances. Adults stuck to the outside of the room. And suddenly, like, girls I had AP geography with were like, yeah, put your hands on my sides and grind the booty. Yeah. And I was like, what is that? It was like a high school switch flipped and I didn't know how to respond.
Yeah, we go from that middle school thing where we're just doing nice, genuine group dances with adults all around to suddenly, put your hand up on my hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. It's like, no, this is not what I signed up for. In the dancing back then, this is like late 90s, early 2000s people. It was just grinding, and I didn't understand that. It was like you're literally just having sex on the dance floor. And I hated watching my sister because she loved to dance, any kind of dancing, but she also was good at that kind of dancing. And it would make me want to throw up seeing her dancing like that because it's like you're having sex out there with their clothes on.
I remember being shocked, like not understanding what was happening or why I was suddenly allowed to touch these girls these ways that I'd been thinking about through middle school. But suddenly it was like, oh, there's music on. I was like, so that was it?
Now it's okay.
It was just weird. It was a weird kind of revelation.
That's why I liked during that same time period that swing dancing kind of came back, had a little kind of comeback in the early 2000s. And like you had Zoot Suit Riot. Those songs, like, and so I liked the idea of swing dancing being a thing because there was a structure to it. You could learn it. It wasn't just humping somebody, and like you could easily get consent to be like, hey, can we swing dance together? As opposed to, can I hump you now? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Take it down.
So yeah, that's a thing.
A kind of non-dance experience. Freshman year, I was looking for a date for homecoming because it seemed like the right thing to do, but I didn't have any real prospects. And so I remember somebody suggested, like, you should ask Maggie. And I was like, who? And she was super quiet and we had no connection. Like, there was no connection prior. It was just, you should go with this girl. I remember them trying to pressure me into like put my arm around her shoulder on the bus and stuff, despite the fact that we hadn't talked really. And I asked her and she said, yeah. And I remember I like didn't do anything. Like, I don't even think I told my parents. And 3 days before I think I called her and I was like, hey, I'm probably not doing this.
That's terrible, Steve.
So I ditched this poor girl for freshman homecoming.
She could have found a different date.
Could she?
If
she was going with me, could she?
That does not mean what you think it means because you got dates all the time. That's not like a...
Ninth grade was not, I've not hit my prime yet.
Okay. All right.
But I think I'd like already paid for the limo. So I just told her, I was like, go. I'm not going to like begrudge my money.
Well, was it your money or your parents' money?
My parents' money.
So your parents paid for this other girl to use a limo to go to dance?
Yeah, but they didn't have to pay for my ticket after I backed out.
I'm sure the limo is more expensive than your ticket.
Nah, it was like $40 or something.
Yeah, a limo, $40?
Well, because, you got 10 kids chipping in.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you had just gotten a limo for you and her.
No.
Oh, no. I was like, wow.
No, it was always like too many of us.
It's a Lux treatment. Well, I remember for one homecoming, I don't recall which one. I think it might have been later, but I decided that I wanted to wear a white suit. And I told my parents.
Did wear a white suit.
Yeah, and I was like, it's going to be great. Some people were like, you look like Colonel Sanders if you wear a white suit. Like, nah, man, white suits are really popular right now. And my parents were like, you'll never wear that again. We're not buying you a white suit. Maybe rent one or something. Like, no, I'll wear it all the time. I love it. And so they eventually, conceded and gave me the white suit. And I wore it the one time and never wore it again. It's a trend with me, actually. And for some reason, I looked fine in pictures, but then wearing it later on, it was huge. And I was super skinny in like early high school and stuff. So I don't know how it was so big that I couldn't even wear it when I was a much larger person. So it eventually went to Goodwill.
I think that was sophomore year. And here's my memory of this outfit. You were so proud of this.
Oh, yeah.
You were so incredibly proud of the suit. But I remember there was a tie you wanted to wear with it. And your mom said no. I remember she was going to make you wear like a straight black tie or something.
Right.
And you had a stripy one that you loved. And I remember your act of rebellion was we took all these pictures, and then as soon as we got in the limo, you like pulled it out of a pocket.
That's so weird. I wonder why her and I were so
took off your
adamant.
tie. I think it was probably because of the stink you put up wearing this damned white suit that she was like, no, you are going to wear this thing.
She was going to win one of the something.
She was going to win something. But I remember your act of rebellion. You were like, yeah, that'll show her.
So random.
That's what being rebellious was for Jarman and I in high school, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What tie are we going to wear?
That same homecoming, I once again approached homecoming with no prospects. And then out of nowhere for the show we were in, I think it was your first show. I think it was Harvey. There was an assistant stage manager that was a super cute freshman. And I asked her and she went. Mm-hmm. And so like, once again, 4 or 5 days before I've got to like throw together a homecoming outfit. I remember we accidentally matched.
Oh no.
It was incredible.
That's good though.
It was good. And we went to Universal City Walk because I think this was out at Hard Rock. And I tried to book a place, like a eating place, and everything was booked.
Of course.
So I went with no plan because I had tried to call 5 or 6 places and couldn't get anything. So I tell her this. I'm like, I don't know what we're going to eat. So she goes, well, my friend works over at like Margaritaville. Let's just go see if he's there. We went over and he was there and he got us a table.
Nice.
In like 5 minutes. We had a really nice dinner. We got over right in time. We met you and your date, who I think was your girlfriend at the time, that you were literally trying to get through homecoming so you could break up with her, if I remember correctly.
Maybe.
Yeah. I remember you were like, we just got to get through homecoming.
Just got to get through this, man.
And then after that, we can be done.
It'll be fine.
And we danced, and it really felt like a real high school thing. And that's where I got like my first, I'll say real kiss, like a real one.
That was your first real kiss?
For real.
Wow,
there
that's
had been
great.
Other stuff before that, but I like in my mind, everything before that's like, yeah, I mean,
oh, I know what you mean. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Everything before that was like kibitzing, but this was like a first real thing.
That's nice. It's romantic at the dance and everything.
This is where, so we were walking out to the car thing at night, and I had no idea what to do. I had no moves at the time. I had no moves.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just walking. She's holding my hand, which is also kind of amazing because we're no longer in the dance setting. And I remembered something that your stepbrother, can we use his real name?
Yeah, it's fine.
Peter. Your stepbrother, Peter, told me that he had used with a girl.
Oh, no.
Over the summer when he was visiting. And I was like, I'm going to try it. And so I looked over at her and I used this line. I said, so where does this leave us? And she was like, together? And I went, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And like, that's how I got like my first real girl. I had one other girlfriend in middle school. My first like real high school girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Was using a line from your stepbrother, Peter. So thank you, Peter, if you listen or hear this afterwards.
Yeah, Peter managed to like make out.
My first move.
He managed to make out with like all my sister's friends. So he knew what he was doing at the time.
My first move, Peter.
I had no idea that happened. That's amazing.
That's right.
See, I don't think I had much luck at all as far as dances and going with girls to them because I just don't like dancing. I never have like been a good dancer, and it's just something I don't excel at, which is funny because I'm now with the girl who's, was dancing all of her life. She was,
right.
So she's hopefully going to teach me how to be a better dancer, but I would always want to stay away from the dance floor, just have conversations, have nice food and drink and listen to the music, and occasionally.
For me, it was always go over when a slow song came on, not embarrass myself.
I can do slow song.
Get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just one day I want to be able to dance to popular music, and I don't think it's ever going to happen for me. I've already passed my prime, so it's done.
Yeah, we all have. We're all like, it's appliances that have just gone out of warranty.
Yep. And so then there was proms, which you'll be able to help my fuzzy memories, but I know at least one we went to where we dressed up really fancy, like English fops, and we had top hats and canes and stuff.
So that was senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I had to look up a photo because I was trying to figure out who was there, and I found the photo. And here's my vague memories overall.
Okay.
So I had agreed to go to prom with a lesbian friend of mine like 2 years prior.
That's right. Yeah.
This had been an agreement. But I was dating this girl, and I had to tell her this. I was like, hey, I know that you would love to go to prom. But my friend and I have said, I'm not going to break that. And she was begrudgingly okay with it. And then 5 days before, my friend said she didn't want to go. So now I had to ask my girlfriend to prom. She was pissed because she didn't have a dress right. She wasn't planning on going. So now she's got to like throw together a prom in like 3 or 4 days.
You're really bad at this, man.
Dude, I know.
It's always like 3 or 4 days notice of either cancellation or no restaurant. Or
so here's what I remember of the plans. You made most of the plans for this prom. Your dad knew a guy that got us a limo at a decent price. The issue is that our buddy Kiki ended up getting a date at the last minute. And so it took us from 9 to 10. And I remember the PT Cruiser limo comfortably sat 7, maybe 8 people. But we crammed 10 bodies into this thing.
I do remember that.
We all wore our tails, which we had, our tux tails, which we had from Chorus. And you and Kenny went to the tux shop and you bought really cheap bowler hats and canes with gloves.
Yes, we had white gloves.
With white gloves. You guys, we were all ridiculous to various degrees.
Because by senior year, I think we had gained enough confidence where we just didn't give a shit if we looked stupid. Like it did not matter.
We were going as a gang too.
Yeah,
like,
we're all together.
We were all going, as a troop.
Support each other. Yeah.
Yeah. We went to Ruth's Chris for dinner.
Oh, wonderful steakhouse. If you don't know, it's
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, which was spendy, but I remember it was nice that we could like share things.
Yeah, they bring over big sides and they bring over your steak is sizzling with butter, like sizzling off of it as they deliver it to you. It's wonderful.
And then we went, and it was at a hotel, I think, somewhere, if I remember correctly.
I thought it was Hard Rock Live, or was that the other different one?
Don't think it would. Prom was not Hard Rock Live. I can be certain of that.
That might have been Homecoming or something.
Homecoming, I almost certainly was, yes.
Being in Orlando, folks, we have weird venues like that we use for school functions.
But it was like a big Hyatt Grand ballroom sort of thing. It was still very nice and very luxurious, as you would expect for Winter Park.
Winter Park High School.
I remember I got Kenny his boutonniere because he was going stag, and I knew he wasn't going to have one.
Ah, that's right. That's very nice of you.
I don't know if he remembers that, but I did that.
I remember that a couple of our other friends that weren't in our party, that same night, I think they went with my ex-girlfriend and made out with her, both of them, I think. So that wasn't cool, but she was my ex.
Wait, like at prom?
I think at prom or afterwards or something that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy. And the thing I remember most is that I kind of ended up not regretting. I think I would have had more fun had I gone without my girlfriend.
Really?
It wasn't
Why?
because she wasn't enjoyable and I didn't like her at the time. It was because she was a year under us. Her friend went, so she went to hang out with her friend, and her friend's boyfriend was like on junior crew or something like that. So in order for me to hang out with her, I kind of got latched onto this weird group of people I had no interest in all night. And my favorite times of the night were where I was like, oh, you guys talk, I'll be back. And I would go wander off for 15 or 20 minutes.
See, that's a piece of advice I would give to any younger version of myself or young person, period, is being in a relationship that you're just not having fun or enjoying. You don't do it. Just get out. Like, there's no point.
It's not that in that specific one, I wasn't enjoying that relationship. It was just like, due to this, I got looped into a group of friends that I didn't. That's not who I wanted to go.
Right.
I wanted to go to prom with you guys. Like that. Yeah.
But what they don't realize is that, like, you know, in any relationship, though, like, you should be so excited to be hanging out with your significant other no matter what. And I made that mistake so many times that whoever I was with, and especially it's happened a lot at dances, so it's actually very relevant. Dances and parties where people were dancing and that kind of thing. I didn't feel very comfortable. I'd seclude myself and go away. And my current partner at the time, whoever they were, would always just go off and go have fun without me because they're like, screw him. He doesn't like this. I'm going to enjoy it myself. Whereas a good partner will be like, they want to enjoy what you enjoy, want to do what you do, and you want to do the same for them. And so young people, listen to this advice. Like who you're with. There's lots of people out in the world. Trust me, it will be better if you get with somebody else. So just
but overall, it was a good night.
Yes, I did.
It wasn't bad. I just think being more free flowing would have been the way to go, maybe.
Yeah, but I think the year before that, though, we didn't go to prom. We decided to kick a limo.
Maybe you did.
You did or you didn't?
I said, maybe you did. I know I didn't.
I think I went with our friend. I forgot what we called her before because she orchestrated this to where we all went in a limo and had dinner, but didn't go to prom.
Oh.
Did that happen or am I crazy?
If it did, I was not involved.
So we just didn't go to our junior prom?
I don't think so.
Huh. A couple of weirdos.
I think it was one of those things where, like, I guess I would have had a girlfriend at the time. You maybe didn't, or you did, I guess. I can think of who you were probably with.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It just didn't happen.
That's weird. But yeah, no, we didn't. I know we didn't go to both, so we only went to one. But that's fine. We got to go one and say we went to prom, so it happened.
That's right. We did it.
An American pastime, which is based off making money.
2 less successful dances that I went to. One was, I think, homecoming sophomore or junior year. Junior year sounds right. And I decided to go with kind of a peripheral pal of ours, older sister, who we had been in school with before that, who graduated. She was a year or 2 ahead of us. And we had flirted and it led to us talking, and she said she wanted to go. And I said, yeah, you go as my date. I remember I had to do this whole registration thing because she was over 18 and not a student.
Oh.
So I had to go register for her ticket special. So we ended up going. We have a good dinner. I remember she's being flirtatious and she looks great. And at one point she starts holding my hand while we're going through crowds and stuff. And it's moving amorously, at least in my mind, the way that I remember it. And then I remember we got out to the dance floor and we were going for a slow dance. I remember she literally just stopped. She's like, I'm seeing someone. and I went, okay. And in that moment of brokenness, I was like, oh, no worries. I am too. and I was just broken. I was so disappointed.
Oh,
like the night only descended from there when at the end of the night, someone was missing. We had to wait for him and the limo was running late. And he basically this limo was going to extort us. Talking about charging double or triple rate after his hourly and stuff stuff he should have been talking to adults about, but instead he was scaring 15 and 16-year-old kids.
Oh, lovely.
Right, that sort of thing. And I basically rolled out of the limo. There was no chance for a goodnight hug already. There was none of that.
And you knew her through the camp or something? How'd you know her?
This was somebody that we had classes with and was a good guy. It was his older sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who was, as I said, a year or 2 older than us.
Well, almost lucky you.
Almost lucky me. And the other one was homecoming senior year, where I ended up going with, once again, sort of like a surprise on the whim with this cute sophomore girl. We went, we had a really good dinner. I can't remember. I think you were dating someone. I can't remember. And we went and we got there and she just disappeared into the crowd. We got into homecoming. She disappeared. And every time I'd find her, she'd be dancing with this friend that she had met up with. And we would dance for a while. And then I'd say, yeah, let's go hang out. It should be great. And she'd come hang out for a minute. And then the moment I would turn away, she'd be gone again. So I'm not saying I didn't spend any time with her. I'm not saying she ditched me all night, but there were huge portions of time where I had no idea where my date was the entire night.
So basically none of our school dances were stellar.
Not super successful.
No. Hoping the next generation of our children have a much better job of it.
Yeah. But, I think that sophomore year one is probably the closest to a movie. Yeah, we danced and then we kissed and then we ended up together for 5 weeks. It was great.
That's pretty good. That's about as successful as you can hope for in high school.
That's 10th grade success, man.
And then I actually would say that I went to one school dance while in college, believe it or not. So it kind of extends our thing here a little bit. But I was dating a girl at the time who went to a neighboring college in Boston, where I went to school. And they had some kind of final thing for their university has several colleges in it. So she's like the College of Business or something. We had their own ceremony and a dance afterwards. So we went to that and I got to dress up all fancy and hadn't done it in a while.
More like a formal.
Yeah, it's kind of like a formal type of thing. And it was really nice. And it was once you're a little bit older past high school, you at least have a little bit less of the awkwardness and the fears and the pressure. And it was like my first adult dance, but it was still technically a school dance. So it was kind of nice. And then now I go to a dance and I'm just like, I don't care. I'm comfortable with the fact that I'm there for the slow dances and the food and the drink. That's about it.
I think that's why people like weddings. It's the closest they get to do to go to school dances.
You're
and they're
absolutely
much more
right.
comfortable with themselves in their adulthood.
Exactly. That's very true. That's why people get a lot more lucky at weddings than they do at school dances.
That and marriage reminds them of impending loneliness and death.
And, the good feelings of love and happiness that they want to spread and share with others.
Like the tick, tick, tick of the clock of life. Yes.
That's right. Negatives and positives. There's good people on both sides. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
So does that pretty much does it for the Sappy Crap Podcast?
That's right. Join us again next time as we bring more teenage angst, anger, and everything in between to you with a subject we don't even know yet.
Yes, but you'll really find it entertaining, I'm sure. So thanks for joining us down this delightful stumble down memory lane.
And don't forget, the good old days weren't always that good.
This podcast was brought to you by A Play on Nerds.